All right, so welcome back. Today is kind of a back-end heavy day. Back-end and development is when you're working on things that aren't necessarily shown on screen, but make things better overall to work with. So we're going to take our little bar here, which up until now has had our pause button, and then three power-up buttons, and we're going to make it so that we have a set script that tells this how many of those buttons should be active. So for example, here, you see they're all active. We press play. We don't have any of them active. And the reason why is because we have a piece of software in the background that's deciding whether or not any of those should be active. And we'll be able to change that from the level select screen. So like maybe on one level you want to take a lollipop hammer, maybe on another you want to take a coconut wheel or whatever. So let's dive right in. Okay, welcome back. So today's video is going to be kind of a little bit loosey-goosey. I don't have any notes for this, so I know what I want to do, but I might meander a little bit on my way there, so bear with me. If you prefer the more polished videos, then I am sorry in advance. All right, so what we want to do, just to kind of remind everybody where we are, since it's been a hot minute since we played our game here, or since I played our game, currently, what we want to take a look at, we have our pause screen, continue. What we want to do is make these buttons down here work as actual boosters. And the kind of booster that you want might vary. I just added some boosters based on things that I saw on Candy Crush itself. So I have one that would allow you to turn any piece into a pillar bomb, one that would allow you to destroy any piece, and one that would allow you to add extra time. And I think I have another one for extra moves. And there's a little bit of a, I guess I didn't make these all quite exactly the same style, but it'll be fine. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about setting up this little bar down here so that we can have, I'm going to have it be at most 3 power-ups. You could have more if you wanted to, but I think Candy Crush does 3, but I'd have to play it again to be sure. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to go to the bottom UI object that we have here. So we got our canvas layer, our bottom UI. I'm going to open this into its own scene. And what I want to do is just talk about how we're going to set up these booster buttons here. So each of these boosters is actually going to be a prefab scene that we're going to instantiate down here. Or actually, it would probably be better just to leave these 3, since I always want to have 3. I'm just going to attach a script to them, and that script is going to decide how they're going to act. Yeah, that'll be better. So with just one of these boosters highlighted, sorry, I told you this was going to be kind of a loose thing. With just one of these boosters highlighted, I'm going to go and create a new script for it. So new script. It's going to inherit from texture button. That's fine. And I'm going to put it in my scripts folder. Oop, too far. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Scripts folder. I'm going to call this booster. Right now it's called booster1, and I just want it to be booster.gd. I'm going to save that, and let's create that script. All right. So the main idea here is I want to know if the booster should be active at all, because maybe the player doesn't have any boosters that they can use. So let's make I'm going to have this be just a regular old var, and I'm going to call it active, and by default we'll make this false. And then I'm also going to make a var, and I've forgotten everything. It's been so long since I used Godot. What are they called? Textures. Is it that I needed to use a capital T? Is that why it was having an issue? Yeah, it probably was that I needed to use a capital T. So, there we go. So var texture, and we'll call this the active texture. Now, you might want to spend some time thinking about what kind of boosters. Oh, good Lord. Man, I'm out of Godot. Okay, so this needs to be an export of type texture. and this is going to be var active texture. And look at that, just a few short weeks away from Godot, and I already started putting my semicolons back on here. Okay. Now, I want to think about what kind of booster it's going to be. Now, this is something where it can't be more than one, so I'm not going to use a Boolean, like saying, is mallet, is color bomb, whatever. Instead, I'm going to use something that we've kind of already started here for our game states. So if I jump over to my grid script here really quickly, I have these enums. And an enum is like a Boolean that can be more than one thing. So Booleans can either be true or false, and that's it. An enum can be any number of a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to grab these two here, these two lines. I'm just going to copy them. I'm going to go back to my bottom UI. Nope, not bottom UI. My booster, which is down here. And I'm going to put these up at the very, very beginning, just because that's how I'm used to doing enums from C#. So I'm going to paste that up there. And my enums here are going to be the different kinds of boosters that we can have. So for the moment, I'm going to say add to counter. And look at this. I did my variables in the C# way. Sorry about that. So I'll change that to active texture. I need to get back to doing snake case. So add to counter, which is going to be the kind that can add moves or add time. Let's do make color bomb. And you might want to have some other types of bombs that you can make in here. So you could do like a make column bomb, or make row bomb, or make adjacent bomb. Let's see, what else did I have? I'll have destroy piece. And for the moment, I think those are the only three I want to do. Like I said, you can add more however you want to. Now, what we want to do is we want to have let's get out of here for just a second so we can look here. We want to have the HBox container know which of these boosters to set active. And if any of them should be inactive, we want it to change the active texture to be nothing. And when we change the active texture to be nothing, then it'll still take up space, but it won't be visible. So let me show you what I mean by that. So what I want to do is make a new function here. I'll call this function check active. And what this is going to do is this is going to take a Boolean value. So I'll take in is active. And we'll say, oh, I need a reference to the, no, I don't, because it's the texture button. So we'll say if is active. So if is active is true, then we're going to say our, what do they call it with the texture button? So looking at the texture button here, texture underscore normal. Texture underscore normal is equal to, I call it active texture. Yep. Is equal to active texture. And if we're not supposed to be active, I'm going to say else texture normal equals null. So that we're going to remove that texture so that it's still going to take up space in the layout group, but it's going to be empty. So I'm going to save this really quickly. Now I'm going to go to my HBox container, which is holding everything, and this is going to get its own script. And I'm going to call this, instead of calling it HBox container, I'm going to put it in my scripts folder. And my mouse is freaking out here. I'm going to call this booster manager. So instead of HBox container, this is booster manager. And this is going to manage which of those boosters are active and, which of the boosters are active and what they currently have. So we're going to create this. Now, what I want to do is I want to create a new function here. I'm going to say function manage booster buttons. Maybe this should be activate. And so for the booster buttons, we want to for I in get child count. So we want to go over all of the children of this. And we want to check to see if the child has that script attached to them. So if the child has the booster script attached, which the pause button won't. So if get child I dot, I forget how we can check if it has a script. Hold on for 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make the children part of a group. That's better rather than checking to see if the script is attached. So we're going to say if get child I dot is in group. In the group I want to look for, I'm going to call boosters. So what I want to do is go through all the children that this node has, and I want to see if those children are in a group called boosters. So before I go any further, I'm going to go back and I want to choose all of my booster buttons here. Go to the node property. Oh, I can only do one at a time. And I didn't give them all the script, so let's do that first. So booster 2 is going to get a script that's loaded instead of new. It's going to get the booster script. Booster 3 is going to get a script that's loaded, and that's going to be the booster script. Okay, so booster 1, node, groups, boosters. And then booster 2, boosters, and booster 3. Cool. All right, so now let's go back to my HBox container here. So if is in group boosters, then what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to turn it inactive just to show that that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to say get child I dot, and what did I call that script, or that function? I called it check active, and then I need to tell it to make it false. So dot check active false. And so this should make all of the booster buttons inactive, but leave the pause button alone. So let's see what I broke here. I'm certain I broke something. Yeah, let's just hit play from this scene. Okay, cool. So it didn't make them inactive, but nothing really broke, so that's good. Oh, I know what I did. I never called that function, the activate booster buttons. I never called that from my ready. So I need to call activate booster buttons. So we'll save that. We'll go out of here. Let's hit play. And there we go. So they're not, and nothing's moving out, or nothing's making an error. So let's actually just say, let's just check to make sure. So I want to say if I is not equal to 0. So I'm going to leave 1 active, and I'm going to leave 2 inactive. So we'll save that. Let's hit play. Oh, okay. Oh, because 0 is the pause button. So if I is not equal to 1, let's hit play. Like I said, sorry this is a meandering video. Yeah, so what I was worried about is when you're using an HBox container like this, if I were to just deactivate one of the items, or even just make it invisible, so like if I go to my bottom UI, if I make this not visible, see how the spacing changed? I want the spacing to be nice and consistent. So if I have just one booster available, I want these spaces to be empty. I don't want these to take up an equal amount of space in the box container. So rather than making them invisible or hidden, we're going to turn their texture to be null. Now this means that the HBox container itself needs to know which of the boosters need to be active, and then we also need to tell it what kind of boosters need to be active. So we're going to do this by we could make a global so that when you go into your new level, you decide which boosters you want to use, like you can in Candy Crush. And then we could store those values into a global, and then this could read from that global. That would probably be the best way to do it. So let's actually set that global up right now. So I'm going to create a new script, file new, and I'm going to call this, let's put it in the right path, script. And I'm going to call this script booster manager. And let's load that up. So the booster manager, oh no, did I already use booster manager? Did I seriously do that? All right, so let's call it like booster info. Let's create that. There we go, that's better. It's more what I was looking for. Now this booster info is going to need to keep a dictionary, we'll call it, of exactly which boosters we want to have active. And if you remember from not too long ago, when we did our save game manager, so game data manager, we used a dictionary in here as well. So we have level 1, unlocked, high score, stars. So what we want to have is we want to just have, we don't need this part here. Instead, we just need to have which booster, and then maybe how many there are. And then we could do like a max of 3. Or we could have maybe each level have, no, that's something that we do somewhere else. So let's make this, I'm just going to copy this just so I can use it as like an idea. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to my booster info, and I'm going to paste this here. Now, we don't need the 2 layers of the dictionary. We just need 1 layer of dictionary. So I'm going to get rid of these superfluous layers. And then these are all going to go back by 1 space. If you hit Shift-Tab, you can unindent stuff like that. And, oh, this shouldn't be on a new line. There we go. So default level info. So this isn't going to be default level info anymore. This is going to be, let's just call it booster info. And then, yeah, so let's name these booster 1. And then instead of calling it true, we'll just leave it an empty string, and then that way we can just read the strings. And then this will be booster 2. And then this will be an empty string. And then this is going to be booster 3, and that's going to be an empty string as well. And then that way we can set the string from our level select, and then we can read that string from our booster manager. That's a good idea. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. There's probably an issue with it. All right, so now, since I want this to be a global, all your globals need to be held in project memory in what's called an auto load. So I need to go to project settings, auto load. I'm going to add a new one. Oh, I need to actually add the node name. So path, script, I called this booster info, and we'll add that to our auto loads. So now that it's in the auto loads, we can reference it from anywhere. So in my booster manager here, I'm going to take information from the booster info that I just created. So what I want to do is, let's see, so I don't actually want this to be I in get child count. I want it to be I in range 0 to get child count. Sorry, not 0, 1 to get child count. And that way I don't have to do this if I is not equal to 1 stuff. That's a simpler solution. And then if I tab that over, so if child is in group boosters, all right, cool. Then what I want to do is I want to check to see what's in the, let's not call it booster 1, 2, and 3. Let's just call it like 1. Or even, yeah, let's do 1. So let's do 1. Let's do 2. And let's do 3. Sorry again. I know some people like it when I do it loosey-goosey like this because you can hear me talk out my strategy and planning for how to do this, but some people really hate it. People who are more experienced. So it's hard to please everybody. So what I want to do is I want to check if booster info dot booster info dot 1 is not equal to that. Then I want to, is that the right way to call that? Expected a colon at the end of line. Okay, how did I call this before? I never use dictionaries, and I know I should, so I'm always super rusty when I do use them. So let's see here. This was to read from it, and then I used something else to actually set whether or not things were active. Did I call it level select? Nope. Sorry, I know this isn't very interesting. Probably maybe fast forward here while I'm looking for where I saved stuff. Is the config manager? Oh, okay. I want to use get value. Haha. So I guess I didn't need a fast forward. So I want to use booster info dot get value, and the value I want to get is 1. It's not equal to, except I don't want this to be 1, I want this to be I. Okay. Let's see if I broke it. Oh yeah, I super broke it. I broke it hardcore. Get value in base dictionary. But I thought I just did the get value. I saw it in my sound manager. Nope, not in my sound manager. Was it in config something? Config manager, that's what it was in. Oh, it's because I was using the config file. Good lord. James. Alright, well I guess I didn't want to have to do this, but this is actually going to end up taking way less time for me to just actually open the level select screen and see what script it was than it'll take me for me to do all of that, like jumping around. All right, so level select screen, get your change scene, level backdrop, and then for the level button, if game.has level enabled. Okay, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Again, I'm just being silly. So what I want to do is I don't want to do booster value or booster info dot get value. I need to just do booster info I. And there we go. Let's save that and let's hit play. Oh, I'm in the wrong scene here. Let's go back to my bottom UI. Okay, there we go. So wait, I think I just did that the opposite of what I wanted to do it. Booster manager. Oh, haha. So if it's not equal to that, so if it changes this so that it is equal to that, that's better. And now if I hit play. Okay, there we go. So now it's reading information from something that's global. Now we can set those globals using our level select so that you can have different power-ups for each level. I'm not going to go through all of the power-ups, but I'm going to go through the general idea behind how each of them would work. So right now we have things set up so that we have the base infrastructure in place. Now that we have the base infrastructure in place, the next thing we're going to do is start deciding exactly how to make these power-ups do what we want them to do in the game. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter to find out when I post new videos. The Discord's a really good place to go, especially if you're struggling with this or new to programming in general. All kinds of really good people there who are willing to help out. Shout out to King Cobra, Faker, Magic Panda, Jacqueline, everybody in the Discord. You're all awesome. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy the video, you can still like it. Nobody's going to check. Feel free to subscribe. Click the bell notification, which I guess is like super subscribing, or share. Just all those buttons just down underneath this video. Just go nuts. Just click them all. I mean, it'd be fun to see what happens. So I hope everybody out there has some. Oh yeah, one more thing. I have Patreon. There's a link to that in the description of the video, so you can check that out if you want to. And yeah, have yourselves a wonderful day.